Hello and welcome back. In this video we're going to talk about web application firewalls and what they are. Web application firewall, or in short WAF, is a type of firewall which is specifically designed for HTTP applications. So they're basically intercepting the HTTP traffic and protecting applications against common HTTP attacks like SQL injection or cross-site scripting or all of those OS top 10 attacks that we talked about. Normally they act as a proxy in between application and the users, and they protect the applications that way. They do have a set of signatures and a set of violation patterns that would check applications against those and the request against those, and if any match found, we could decide what to do with the request, whether we block it or whether it would be redirected to another URL or whatever the decision could be. You can compare these applications with these application firewalls with IPSs, which they do have a set of signatures and basically work that way. Web application firewalls are a bit more comprehensive and a bit more complicated than that. Because they purely designed for HTTP and web applications. So the way that it works, just to show you on a diagram, user would send the request and basically user's traffic would be redirected to web application firewall, as you can see on the screen. Before the traffic is passed to the application server, it would be intercepted by web application firewall for anomalies or malicious traffic. And if there is really no malicious traffic and it is clean, it will be passed to the server. And if it is malicious, it will be blocked. Again, to demonstrate why they're useful, if we initiate a SQL injection attack, we could simply pass next generation firewalls and we could simply pass through IPSs, but web application firewall where it would be blocked because it is specifically designed for those purposes. There are a lot of different leaders and different vendors on the market that they provide web application firewalls, whether it is a cloud solution or whether it is an appliance-based solution or a virtual appliance. They are all web application firewalls and they might work in a different way, but they basically do the same thing. As you can see on the top right corner of the Gartner report, Imperva, F5, Akamai, they are basically the leaders in this category right now, but there are a lot of other vendors like Cloudflare or Barracuda or Fortinet that they actually provide similar sort of functionalities and web application firewalls, and they are pretty good too. So in terms of who is on the market to provide this functionality, those are the vendors that you can see. Just to quickly demonstrate how a web application firewall works, I have an F5 web application firewall here, which I'm just going to quickly show you how it works. If you're familiar with F5 devices, they're basically traditionally doing load balancing for different servers and different applications. So we could just go and create some virtual IPs and load balance the traffic between different machines. Users, when they try to connect to the application, they connect to that virtual IP address, and from F5 it would be obviously connection back to the application. F5 has a security module for web application firewall as well, which is called ASM. So as you can see, there is a specific application security menu in there that we could go and create the specific security policies. And once you create the security policy, it would start to learn about the application traffic and build some policies. And after that period of time, if it finds violations, it will be blocked. So you can see that there are specific sections for attack signatures, parameters, URLs, and so on that you could go and configure. But just to show you at the high level, if you click on creating a security policy, we're not going to associate it with any virtual server right now. Just click next. So you can see we could choose to create a security policy automatically or manually, or create an XML service web security, or even integrated with vulnerability scanning tools. And if you just go ahead and click next for automatic scanner, so we just call it test policy. So the application language could be detected. You could select whatever case sensitivity and so on. So click next. And here is where you specify the type of your operating system and web server and application and so on. So you could say my application is an Apache server and it's on a Linux, and basically it is PHP. And once you specify those, it would only use the signatures relevant to those categories or those systems, and violations related to those systems. So you don't necessarily need to check violations for a Windows server if your server is a Linux server. And you see the concept of signature staging. So it would, for a while, it would start listening to the traffic and have the signatures in staging mode and come up with recommendations. And once it learns about the traffic and once it has enough information, we could move to the blocking mode, which is basically preventing malicious traffic from getting to the server. So that's how you simply, so this is not part of the course. I just wanted to demonstrate how web application firewalls, commercial web application firewalls look like. On the next section, we're going to talk about Mode Security, which is one of the best free web application firewalls on the market as well. But that is not really a commercial product as such. It requires much more manual involvement and manual changes. You can see with the vendors that I mentioned on the diagram, you could do this in a graphical interface, and it gives you a lot of additional options in terms of how you can set it up. So it's simple as that, and you can basically create the policy once you've done. So you see that the color, you could choose how to basically get your policy created, whether you go with fundamentals or enhanced and comprehensive. And obviously you can see there are more things when you go to comprehensive method. And then, as I said, there is a learning period, so it would start listening to the traffic and create the policies and stuff. And after that learning period is completed, you can lock it down, lock the application down, and any violation after that would be detected. So this is a very useful product, and basically it would help to secure your applications. Web application firewall is an absolute necessary if you're working on sensitive applications. On the next video, we're going to talk about Mode Security and explain the configuration and how it works, and talk about the Apache module installation and how we can basically secure our DVWA application with Mode Security. Thank you for watching. I'll be with you on the next one.